Okay, we're in Basildon in Essex, and we're with the 2015 World Champion Stuart Bingham, Ball Run Bingham. Where did that nickname come from? Are you really that lucky?
I used to be. Back in the day, early on, when I was about 15, 16, I used to hit the balls a bit like Judd.
Right.
Just smash them around the table, and used to obviously just get lucky. And obviously I feel like I sort of half know what I'm trying to do these days. Yeah. So it seems like I don't get as much run as everyone else.
Because we're commentating, and you get a fluke, that's the first thing the commentators want to say. Well, there he is, ball run. Anyway, let's have a couple of frames, or one or two frames. I mean, this room is just, it's got to be one of the best rooms I think I've ever been in. I mean, it's just like, I didn't do anything like this when I practiced. I just went and had my room, and there was a trophy cabinet, but this is incredible, isn't it? Yeah,
it's something I've obviously collected all over the years of playing. Obviously, you say, I remember going up to Stirling, seeing your trophy cabinet, all the knives from Dubai and places like that, and it's always stuck in my mind. And like I say, all the balls, all the balls you can see, all the finals I've won with. Yeah. So it's just something I've always sort of thought about. Like I say, you couldn't do it. There wouldn't be enough room for all your trophies and things like that. I don't know,
but I mean, like this is I'm very impressed. And this is the actual final, 2015.
So, yeah, that was a semi-final.
Oh, that was the semis, right?
We was actually sitting there watching Sean Murphy come out to Barry Hawkins in the semi-final. So that table is that table.
Oh, I see Steve and all that, the BBC.
Yeah, people, all that. So yeah, it's just obviously a good sort of memento of it all, and proud of it.
Excellent. Right. Do you want a break, or will I break?
You go for it, yeah.
Break. How many start are you giving me?
I think I need to start. Last time we played.
Oh, that's right. You're the 2012.
That ain't fair, actually, because if I knew you was retiring, it'd have been a totally different story. Making a max against me, that's not fair.
But this is what I feel when I go to qualifiers and stuff, and the standard of the table, the cloth. I mean, this is immaculate. You brushed your hand it this morning, especially for me coming.
Of course. I spent.
Oh, look at this!
Yeah, I'm gonna put a max up. You
go max up. Yeah, go on then. That'll be the first maximum on the YouTube channel.
I spent a good 20 minutes brushing this just for you.
So how long have you lived here? How long have you had this room?
We moved here 2016.
Right.
The reason why I got the house, because this was already here.
Oh, the room was here, right? Okay. Oh, it was a snooker room, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So sort of just sort of out of totally out of the blue. Right. My manager, he was getting massage off this woman, and he sort of said, "Oh, I've got to get a house with a snooker room for my player." Yeah. And she went, "My mum and dad are thinking of moving. They've got a snooker room." Right. And it just worked out.
So how many hours a day do you spend in here then? Do you do it rigidly at the same time every day, or do you just come out for a couple of hours and go in and come back for another couple of hours later? Or
no, I obviously could drop the kids off at school. My boy, drop him off the other side of the roundabout to his friend's house, and then sort of get in the shower, get down here for about 9:30, 10. Right. And then sort of try and stay in here till 4 or 5. Really? Not practice all that time. You've got the TV and the sofa.
Yeah, you can,
But sort of try and, if I can do sort of 3 or 4 hours, I'm happy.
Right, okay.
All that time here, but obviously the wife don't know, so.
But I remember, because when I used to practice in the club, and then the club shut down, I put a room at home. I found it not the same, because I found going to the club, it's like going to work kind of thing. But obviously being at home, it's easy. I mean, it was near the end of my career, so I wasn't as dedicated, but it's easy to say, right, okay, I'll stop for a coffee, and then half an hour becomes an hour becomes I'll play tomorrow.
That's exactly what's happening at the moment.
Right.
I'll sort of play, I'll put the kettle on, make a cup of tea, play a frame. The time I finish that frame, the tea's like a nice temperature, sit down, and it's like half hour later, I'm like, I better play another frame here. And it's things like that, like you say, it's so comfortable here, it's at the end of the garden, and it's a bit dangerous.
And we got this a constant temperature and everything all the time. And
the table, the heating on the table's on 24/7. Right. The room literally takes 5 minutes to warm up.
Right. Okay.
So it's nice.
Do you find it? Oh, do you find it harder to put in all the hours? As you how how old are you now?
46.
46, and you turned pro what age? Or you've been playing? When were you start playing snooker?
I was 14 when I started, so I was really
quite late. Yeah.
So I was only played 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Just stop. Ball run.
That's why I'm ball run.
Yeah. He's missed the black and blocked the pocket for the red. Nice game. We'll have to play safe. So yeah, 14.
Yeah. So I think I started late, sort of. Like you say, I'm the same age as Ronnie. John Higgins a year older than me. I think obviously
right.
Mark Williams a year older than me, two. But yeah, I remember turning up. Maybe probably one of my first tournaments was 16 and under outside the club, and Ronnie was meant to be there. It was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And he obviously didn't show.
Right.
I was gutted, but yeah, just sort of didn't really know anyone.
Okay.
When I first sort of played away from the club. I played a lad called David Gray, first ever match away from the club. Didn't know him, beat him 3-0, and everyone's like, "Who's this?" Stuart Bingham. It's like, I'm like, "What are you on about?" And he said, "Well, Dave Gray's like the English champion, this and that." And obviously, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
The only person I knew there was Lee Walker.
Right.
Only because I see him on Junior
coach,
Pop Black.
Right.
There he was, a little, whatever, 16-year-old with a tash, all them many moons ago, and yeah, he obviously beat me 3-0. I was petrified of him because I knew who he was.
Right, okay.
But yeah, obviously good memories. Back at Biggleswade.
You got a plant here, possibly?
Is that a plant?
Yeah. See, I played safe. That's a careless safety by me.
See, this is one of my shots I like doing, plants.
Right.
People don't. I was talking to Matt Selt the other day about it, and saying like people don't see them. How many people don't see plants?
Yeah.
And
well, sometimes when I'm commentating, you're looking at, and people. A lot of players don't. I mean, myself, I didn't really do it a lot for safety shots. Come down and look at the pack. And Frank Callan used to always say to me, "You should always come and look at the pack. See, even if it's not a plan, you're putting reds over the pocket." But
exactly, yeah. How many people, don't see? Like, I'll go down and have a look, and I'm like, well, if I can that one, that's going towards that pocket.
Yeah.
So I'll play another shot.
Yeah. And
then they play the shot I refused, and then they put a ball over the pocket, and they're like, oh, how lucky is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it was on. But yeah, I'll say talking about Matt Selt, saying about plants, and I think the very next match he played, he walked down the table, had a look, and he went, "There's a plant there."
Right.
He said, all I thought about is go for a walk, have a look.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah. Like that.
Lovely. See, I thought I'd played half a decent safety shot there. So Essex is a real, like, I mean, it's always been like a real hotbed for snooker, isn't it? I mean, even when I remember 13, 14, 15, come down with my dad, getting the train from Scotland to King's Cross, then coming out to Ilford, Ealing, all these places.
Yeah.
I mean, is it Ealing? Ilford. Yeah, I'm getting confused with my geography. But yeah, Ilford and all these places used to be big pro-ams and stuff. And there was always some great players. Yeah,
all the pro-ams when they was really busy and things like that.
Yeah.
I was just behind that because I started late.
Okay.
When I obviously started in 1990, obviously the game opened up in 91.
Yeah.
So all the pro-ams all went.
Right.
I remember turning up at a couple and there was, like I say, 128 in it and things like that. But
it was such a good scene, the amateur scene, wasn't it? It was tough.
Yeah.
Really tough.
I was gutted because I missed all that, really.
Yeah.
My sort of, say, my first tournament was 16 and under, so we're talking about 92.
Right. So you missed all the Pontins festivals and all that sort of thing, did you? Or did you go to them?
I did do them all, but obviously there was only maybe probably 8 sheets.
Right.
Not like the 80 sheets that used to be.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I'd always done all right at Prestatyn.
Yeah.
I don't know, won it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
But then everyone else was like pro and
not
bothered to turn up and things like that.
What age did you turn pro?
Who's
the guy that used to look after you? The guy that knew Steve as well? Steve Davis.
Joe Lazarus?
No, another guy used to come around. He was a pro, I think.
Brian Morgan?
And another older guy. Oh, what was his name?
Harris.
Vic Harris.
Vic Harris, yeah. I had a spell, a couple of years with Vic.
Yeah.
He took me under his wing.
Because he was with Steve, wasn't he?
That's it, yeah. Early days with Steve.
Yeah.
And then Vic Harris, when I left school, he went, right, because you live in Basildon, he went, go and see Joe Lazarus.
Right.
Joe obviously looked after Brian at tournaments and things like that. So that was my bit. I'd done my work experience under Vic Harris.
Really?
In Leon C.
What was that doing?
Just play snooker.
Oh,
he went just sign it over to me. He said I'll sort it all out, and then he said you've got to do like literally 5 minutes of writing stuff down. He said then just go and practice.
Brilliant.
So I got away with it all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the same. Never done a day's work in my life. We're so lucky.
There you go.
See, there you go. See, this many players feeling sorry for me. And you're obviously well known for like. Do you still love the game as much? Because you're well known for like you playing anything. Even now, will it be a pro-am or a pro tournament?
I've struggled this year on tour, so I had a little sort of tour around when I played in Liverpool in a pro-am, and then went to Leeds to have a practice with Ollie Lyons,
right, and
then a pro-am the next day in Northampton, just to keep playing and just to try and find a bit of form.
Really?
So yeah, I sort of say it ain't been great on tour, but I've been enjoying practice. I still enjoy it.
Yeah, because obviously with COVID and not going to China, the tournaments have not been. The calendar's been cut, isn't it? It's not a lot to play. Well, no. Not as busy as it was.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. My game's sort of gone down a bit because of that. It's not a bad split for you.
Look at that. That's tremendous. Do you miss the travelling? Do you miss?
I do. Yeah. Obviously, we went to Thailand last week.
Yeah.
It's good because like all of a sudden they put on a show really.
Yeah.
The sort of the PR day and things like that you had to do. I think people took it for granted how much we did travel.
Yeah.
And now it's been taken away. I think people actually do miss it.
Yeah.
Especially for me, sort of getting away from the wife and the kids.
We can cut that out if you want. But I used to love travelling. I thought, how boring is it when every tournament's in the UK?
Yeah.
You know, we were in Brazil a few years ago.
Yeah.
And obviously the Asia stuff. It's I think it's so dull for playing everyone in the UK. I clumped that a bit. It's all right. There's so many reds available that. So do you have players in here to play? People come and play, or would you rather just practice on your own?
No, I still prefer playing people. Sean O'Sullivan come down.
Right.
I've got maybe probably 5 or 6 players.
Yeah.
Ronnie come down every now and then. Barry Hawkins, Martin O'Donnell, Zach Shurty. Sort of a whole bunch of different players, really.
Did you play? Obviously, you said you were quite aged with Ronnie. Did you play a lot with him growing up, or?
Growing up in Ilford, yeah. I remember playing at a Ilford amateur, and he obviously watched me play, and he's like, "Come down." He said,
"Oh no."
Did you used to miss back in the day?
Devastated.
But yeah, Ronnie sort of practiced a bit with Ronnie when I first sort of passed my test.
Yeah.
Going down to Wilford and that, playing with Ken.
Right.
When he was there at
Ken,
the time.
Yeah.
So I remember picking the balls out for Ken, 6-0. Thanks a lot, cheers. And then didn't play him again.
Yeah.
But sort of like Ilford back in the day, you had loads, Nick Terry, Michael O'Sullivan.
Because I remember the guys who were talked about as being, they were the top amateurs, like David Gilbert, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Was it Martin Smith?
Yeah, that was all just before my time.
Yeah.
Gyro John, Johnny Wright.
John Wright, yeah.
I remember sort of hearing about them, but never really seeing them play. I was just that next sort of.
And would it be much like challenge matches or something? You try to play for like 500 quid or money matches or anything like that?
Yeah, I had a few spells. I played Drago, like, I don't know, £1,000, £2,000.
Right.
Willie Fawn.
Right.
Jimmy White. I remember playing Willie Fawn literally, was it about 3 days after I won the World Amateur in New Zealand.
Right.
I was jet lagged, but I was absolutely flying. I think he made 100 first frame, and then I just didn't miss for 5 frames.
Really?
beat him 5-1. Literally 4 days later, played the return at his place, beat him 5-4.
Right.
Just the good old days, like I say.
Yeah.
No one does that anymore.
No, it's it's in a way it's a shame, really.
Yeah, because like you say, that was probably my apprenticeship. Instead of the amateur, the pro-ams, I had to sort of try and get the money matches and to try and get the pressure situation.
I was supposed to go in between the green and brown. I completely decelerated there, and now I'm on nothing. Go. Yeah, I used to play money matches in Glasgow in Scotland, and Ian Doyle was my manager. He used to put the money up, and if I won, I got half, and if I lost, obviously that was on him. I was terrible in money matches. Terrible. I mean, it's because people used to always say, "Oh, you'd be playing for a lot of money in the World Championship," but you don't think things like you don't never think about money in the World Championship. But £1,000 is like actual playing for money.
Yeah.
I used to,
it's like cash in it.
I used to bottle it every time. It's terrible. Oh dear.
Give me chances.
Oh dear.
I think I only lost one to Jimmy. I remember beating Drago twice. I beat Willie twice.
Right.
And then Jimmy beat me, and I think that was the end of it. I think then I turned sort of pro.
Right. What age were you? What year were you turned pro?
So it was at 95.
Right.
So I was what, 19, 18, 19.
Okay.
So I've only been playing the game 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I thought was good, obviously went to Blackpool.
Yeah.
600 players there. And I thought I was the nuts. And then like you see Paul Hunter there, you see Matthew Stevens, you see like everyone else.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
The old Norbert Castle. Did you ever, although Steve never played with anyone, did you ever play with Steve practice-wise?
Yeah, I remember a little bit at...
the Matchroom?
No, I played in Matchroom. A friend of mine won a local paper or bid for a charity. Yeah. And it was to go and play Steve Davis. And he said, come along. He said, you'll love it. And obviously met him. Got a picture, I think I posted it up a couple of years ago. Me is like a little kid here. But I remember practicing at Whittam, and I remember thinking, right, let's see if I can out-safety Steve Davis. Right. I remember playing a shot, and I thought, well, yeah, go on then, stick that up, yeah. And he's sort of done his whole, sort of went like that, played a shot, and the next shot I had, I was like,
glued.
I've got to play like the perfect inch shot to miss 2 reds. And but obviously he was at the end of his career. He couldn't score as good. Yeah. But he still got obviously 50, 60 breaks and things like that. But I think every time we played as a pro, I'll beat him. Right. Okay. I think we played 5 or 6 times, and I'll take that to my grave. I'm chuffed to bits of that. I wanted the same as you, but you beat me in 2012. Well, the year I think I was I defending champion the year you beat me in the first round? That was after I beat on my 7th. That's it, the 7th, yeah. Yeah. Do you remember we done the grandstand? We done a draw live on grandstand. Oh, did we? Yeah. Oh, and that's right. And then and who is it? Inverdale? Yes. John Inverdale. John Inverdale, and he's gone, you've got to be happy with that draw. And you went, well, he's bigger than me, standing next. Because you're always, I mean, this is like, obviously sounds bad, but you were always talked about as kind of a journeyman pro, weren't you? Yeah. And it's always mentioned that when they opened to get all these more tournaments, the PTCs or something, that you say that helped you come on, did that, or what changed in your game plan? Yeah, when we obviously the game went down to 6 tournaments. Yeah, and then Barry got into the game, and then it went from literally 6 to 25 tournaments. Yeah. So when we had them 6, obviously I was a 5 handicap golfer at the time. You'd have 6 weeks in between tournaments. Yes. So I'd go to a qualifier, win a couple of games, lose. Right. Go and play in a pro-am in, I don't know, Holland or Germany, and because I've had them 2 or 3 matches under my belt in the qualifiers, my game got obviously sharp. Right. used to go and win all the pro-ams everywhere.
Yeah.
But then got back to a qualifier. I put so much emphasis on
Right, okay.
on the rankings and things like that I probably couldn't handle it.
Right, okay.
So when Barry opened the game up, didn't do well one week, but the following week my game was sharp.
Yeah.
Then it got better and better and better and better,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's just started winning and things like that, I think.
Yeah. And of course, 2015, the championship that I tipped you to lose every single round. Every single round for the BBC, they would come and say, go through the draw and who do you fancy? And so who was it? Was it Ronnie in the quarters?
Yeah.
So obviously I said, well, I fancy Ronnie to win. I mean, it's very lazy journalism, really, just to say, oh, fancy Ronnie. But I thought, well, Ronnie's going to win this match. Stuart plays Brown to win. Next round, Judd Trump.
Yep, in the semis.
Judd, well, fancy Judd Trump wins that. And then, because Stuart said to me, he says, oh, I hope you're tipping me tipping me to get beat in the final. And to this day, that's still one of the best finals I've ever
Yeah, I remember you saying, yeah.
It was just, the snooker was just, it was snooker that I love to watch because it was all attacking, big breaks, going for shots. It was just tremendous. But I mean, you obviously you change your coaching and stuff. You went to a new routine, and did that just completely transform your game? Give you so much confidence?
Like I say, I think it was a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Obviously off the table, got obviously with my wife Michelle. Right. When sort of Barry come in.
Yeah.
Obviously all the tournaments as well.
Yeah.
Obviously started working with Steve Feeney. Yeah. I think it was a bit of everything.
Yeah.
I started to doing a sort of a mind coaching.
Right.
And literally 4 or 5 months before the Worlds.
Right.
And every month I'm like, when is this ever going to work, this mind? And literally someone said at the sort of after, I think the second round, they've gone, you're doing something different, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. But it's obviously clicked what I was trying to do.
Yeah, unconsciously kicking in, yeah.
And obviously just, I think that, like I say, that year as well, I think I won 3 tournaments going into that tournament. Yeah. And I just obviously just got in the zone. Yeah. And like you say, I think the final, I think I looked at the stats, and out of the 33 frames, 31 had breaks over 50.
Yeah, it was a stunning final. It really was. It was proper snooker.
Hmm.
Not a bad shot. Not a bad shot.
I think I need to clear up a beater, don't I?
Oh, so that's not the cue you used to win the world title, is it?
No, that one there. That one hanging up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, my little
what happened to that one then?
No, obviously just I just got a business deal with obviously Cue Creator.
Right. Okay.
And this is what my 4th cue.
Right.
4th ever cue, and it seemed like every sort of 10, 11 years the wood just went dead.
Right. Okay.
Where I didn't really look after the cue, like oil it and things like that.
Have you always had ash? You've always
had ash. Yeah, right. I've tried a few maples, but just seemed to be a harder throw.
Yeah, I think you're either one or the other. Steve McGuire, I think, is one of the players that went from ash to maple. But I always thought you're either one or the other as a player.
I think whatever you start with.
Look at that.
You've always said you're rubbish at doubles.
Honestly, I'm as surprised as anyone in the room that's gone in, I tell you.
I was thought, first time ever there, he's going to play safe.
That's the blue.
Look at this.
Oh, look at this. The good thing about this is my channel, no one knows the score. I can make it out like I can still win this frame. So obviously the Crucible must be your favourite venue, is it then?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to beat. And so you're obviously looking forward to this year?
Yeah. Obviously it was nice to win a couple of games at the WST Classic just to get myself sort of back in the mix. And every year you go back, even just talking about the old butterflies.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
But it's the first round. Who you draw in the first round is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always say it's nice if you get a tough draw and come through that because it gives you such a lift. But still, you'd rather have a slightly easier one, wouldn't you? That you.
Yeah, but
then you don't know. I don't think that exists anymore, does it?
No, because like you say, you take things for granted. Yeah, I always try and think if you get a debutant, because they don't know what it's like, and then hopefully they like freeze a little bit.
Yeah.
But like you've got people like, I think Barry Hawkins got qualify. You've got obviously I think Joe Perry. There's just no easy first round games anymore. It's you've got to sort of go in there and start from the off.
Yeah, and it's I still think, I know that the draws are tougher, but I still think a lot of top players put so much pressure on themselves these days in the first rounds. It looks like, oh, I've got to get through this first round, and then it's just, you know, to me from the outside looking in, it looks like just play your game. If you're the top player, you should, unless you get what likes of a Hawkins or something who is a top player. He's a top paid player, isn't he? I didn't realise he was that far. I
think he's only just missed out. I think he was like 17,
really?
18, yeah.
Wow.
But then, like you say, you've got the 2-year ranking. 2 years ago, I've got the semis, and I've got that coming off obviously after.
Yeah.
So I've got to have a good run just to keep my 16 place.
I'm very happy with that clearance.
Never lose it.
I don't know what the score was.
Yeah.
Thanks. That was beautiful. Beautiful table.
Cheers.
I mean, this is a joy to play on.